Good afternoon, Rotarians. It's good to see you. Welcome to the April 2nd meeting of the Rotary Club of Boyd. I'm your president, Tim Lowitz. Thanks to Eric Dickinson for filling in as a greeter today. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. And then we'll bring Randy Worth up here in a moment to share a moment of inspiration. And a reminder, you can sign up to do either of those tasks on a weekly basis, either with Kitty or at the badge table out front. So Randy will be up here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and four-way test after his moment of inspiration. Randy?
Be inspired at your own peril. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'll start out with a brief notice about the Wheels Fellowship. It's in the bulletin for April 25th at 10 o'clock down the street here on Locust at American Dream Machines. They have about 90 cars in there, and yeah, it'll be a good time. So, family event, come one, come all. So today we're going to learn about change, change at Sleepy Hollow. The change is happening all over Des Moines. And sometimes change isn't what we're looking for, emotionally, personally. The psychology suggests that there are 6 stages of behavior associated with change. Pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and termination. And I will say, if you've ever remodeled a house, a car, or anything else, there is no termination. It just keeps going. So today I want to focus on pre-contemplation. This person has an attitude that things are fine the way they are. And he sees no reason to change because he doesn't think there's a problem to think about. There's nothing that needs to be changed. And I want to go through briefly something that the lack of this awareness can lead to a bad outcome. So I want to introduce you, and I'm going to butcher the guy's name, Federuccio. He's Italian, if you can figure that out. Lamborghini. You knew it'd be about cars, right? No. So he served in the Italian Mechanics Corps during World War II and was a very, very accomplished engine mechanic. And afterwards, he went around and he collected lots of the machinery that the Allies left, and he started building tractors. And his tractor turned out to be very powerful, very never broke down, and he become wildly popular and a huge demand. And then he branched off into equipment that went along with the tractors, and it made him rich, which was fortunate because his real passion was cars. So in his garage was a Jaguar, an upper-end Mercedes-Benz, a Maserati, and 2 Ferraris, one for him, one for his wife. Now, enter the problem is that with the Ferraris, they always had clutch problems. And the only place you could get it fixed was the Ferrari plant, which was, as you can imagine, very expensive. And this problem went on, and it just kept coming back. So he asked one of his mechanics in the tractor works to look at it. They not only found the problem, but discovered that Ferrari was using the same clutches that the tractor works was using. You can smell a problem, right? This ignited some Italian attitude, let's say. And so a trip was made to the Ferrari plant. A demand was made to see Enzo himself. He went in and he laid out his grievances and awaited for a proper response. And Enzo got up and said, the problem is not the car, it's the driver. Not only that, you're good at driving a tractor, but you will never be able to handle a Ferrari. And showed him the door. Okay. Not willing to take this sitting down, Clint Eastwood once said that if you want to see a change for the better, you have to take things into your own hands, which he did. So he goes home, draws up designs for a car, hires some of Ferrari's engineers and mechanics, and in 1963 rolls out the first 350 GT, a car that immediately was faster and more luxurious than a Ferrari, and was a burr in Enzo's saddle for decades. Not only that, for other reasons, having the same attitude, Lamborghini was doing very well with tractors and cars, and Ferrari was close to bankrupt by the mid-60s. Change can be uncomfortable, but consider this. Change may not always bring improvement, but nothing improves without change. Now the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we test, is it the
The
truth?
truth is fair to all concerned. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Meet and greet.
Thanks, Hi, John. Hey, David, how are you?
How are you?
Good to see you.
Isn't Randy the best?
Huh?
Randy's the best.
Randy always has got a good inspiration. Always comes back. He always brings it home. You gotta love him. Just gotta make sure he's good. Hey, how are you? Thank you. He's got a comment. Okay. We'll move on to the rest of the program so we can get our great speakers up here to tell us about Sleepy Hollow Sports Park. But before we do, as tradition, we will acknowledge we do have a couple of guests and also prospective members in the audience today. First, and guests, go ahead and please stand and just we'll hold our applause till I mentioned both of you. Amanda Newsom, the new executive director of the DMAC Foundation, and a guest of Scott Bennett, who actually isn't here today, but Amanda came anyway. So thank you. And then Cameron Nicholson, president and CEO of the YMCA of Greater Des Moines, a guest of Steve Sipple. So thank you both for joining us. Appreciate it. And we actually had, if you didn't notice, we actually had 6 new members join last month. So, great job by our membership team. And a reminder that if you have prospective members like Amanda or Cameron, make sure to reach out to them. Spring is a great time to get them to join. We have some great programs coming up. So, So before we get to our speakers, we'll have a little bit of fun first with Where in the World, and then Rotary Law and Disorder. So Where in the World is Club 27 for our guests and our speakers that don't know. The Rotary Club of Des Moines is the 27th Rotary Club in the world, founded of over 45,000 clubs in more than 200 countries. So we ask our members to take us along to places they are traveling that are fun and interesting. And later on we have some Doug Saltzgaber pictures today, so we know it'll be interesting. But first, we are in Cuba with Susan Junkins and Becky Greenwald, who sent us some great photos, especially for Randy and our Wheels enthusiasts down there. So thank you, Susan and Becky, for bringing us along. So we have several from Doug today. We'll start. It's getting cumbersome. We'll start with Doug, past President Doug Saltzgaber at the Des Moines Police Station, apparently providing some state's evidence on the Rotary Club, the Des Moines AM Rotary Club. And then next kitty we have Doug, who apparently is now on the run from the cops, and has a new job at the livestock auction down in Lamoni. And Doug made his way to Missouri, where, to his credit, he went to the Rotary Club of the Plaza down there in Kansas City. So good Rotarian, Doug, twice. Good job out of you down there. And then Doug made it over to a landmark over in St. Louis. And I have some intel from also past President Skeet Wooten, who knows Doug quite well. And Skeet told me, even though Skeet's not here today, he told me that for the picture on the lower right, he asked Doug if you're going to send any pictures in for Rotary from your trip, and Doug said, "Yeah, I'm in front of Mount Rushmore." And Skeet goes, "Are you in South Dakota, Doug?" And Doug said, "No, I'm in St. Louis." So I think he meant the arch, and I think we should take that Doug should not plan our next trip or geography. So thank you, Doug, for those pictures. But I noticed, before you sent it over, Katie, I noticed you didn't have any in there from Chicago, from any winning Sweet 16 games.
I was there.
So I got you covered. That is me and my son last week, Thursday night, in Houston. Go Hawks. Sorry to any Nebraska fans in the audience. It was one of the joys of my life watching 10,000 men walk out of that arena. So. But yes, we had a fun time. Made it down there to Houston for that game. So thank you for President-elect Josh and covering for me last weekend while I did so. So since we have a video today, I'm supposed to play the Rotary Law and Disorder theme song, but it always messes up on the iPad, so you know what it is. Dun, 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 dun.
Play it.
Okay, Katie's gonna make me play it.
I want you to feel the pain.
There's our high-tech IT right there. Anyway, Rotary Law and Disorder, for those that don't know, is my little attempt to poke fun at the legal profession. So in honor of our speaker and Sleepy Hollow's history as a ski hill, I decided to take us back to an incident that occurred in 2016 at the Deer Valley Resort in Park City, Utah. Famous actress Gwyneth Paltrow was on vacation with her kids and her boyfriend. There was a ski instructor providing Gwyneth's children with ski lessons, and during those ski lessons on what was described as a fairly easy, I guess it would be bunny hill or something very easy, there was a collision between Miss Paltrow and a retired optometrist named Terry Sanderson. Mr. Sanderson claimed that Ms. Paltrow was skiing recklessly and out of control when she ran into him, causing, quote, life-altering permanent damage, including brain damage, 4 broken ribs, and other serious injuries. So naturally, the retired optometrist sued Ms. Paltrow for $3.1 million. And Paltrow, to her credit, counterclaimed for $1, saying it was Sanderson who was higher on the hill behind her and had run into her, and that she had to fight this lawsuit because it was just ridiculous and not right. So we get to trial, which I don't think occurred until like 2023 or something like that. But anyway, it was a 2-week trial with dozens of witnesses. And it did not help Mr. Sanderson's case that apparently after the accident, he later that day posted to Facebook to his two daughters that he was now famous for having run into Miss Paltrow, and that there was also evidence that he took subsequent trips after, even though he had life-altering injuries, subsequent trips to Morocco, Europe, and South Africa in the months that followed his life-altering injuries. So the jury was out less than 2.5 hours and said Sanderson was 100% at fault for the skiing accident and awarded Paltrow her $1 in compensation. And apparently she got up and left the courtroom and wished him well. Does anyone know my dad joke about Mr. Sanderson's case? Come on, Doug, think about it. After the Facebook and the trip testimony they took after posting that, his case went downhill. So, I thought long and hard about that one.
Don't put your day down quite yet.
I'm not going to try. All right. Well, with that out of the way, we are going to move on to our program. We have a little bit of two different speakers here today. So both Cammie Rankin and Jeff Condon are with us from Polk County Conservation. And Cammie is going to come up here and give us an update on our past grant award to the Easter Lake project, where we gave $40,000 to that project several years ago. So I'll introduce Cammie, and then Cammie will introduce Jeff once she's done with her presentation. Cammie began her employment with Polk County Conservation as the Deputy Director on November 15, 2021. She has served with the organization as a community outreach supervisor since 1999, spending 22 years promoting the facilities, programs, and initiatives associated with Polk County Conservation. One of her key roles has been to reach out to the community to seek feedback and develop partnerships with the media, public, and various public and private organizations. Cammie works closely with the execution of the Polk County Water and Land Legacy Bond referendum, large-scale fundraising initiatives, strategic master planning, and other public-facing projects. She oversees operations, budgeting, and human resources for the state's largest county conservation board. And she tells me she's got some good dirt on our member, Rich Leopold. So if you want to ask her about that, you certainly can. Anyway, Cammie, welcome, and then she'll introduce Jeff after that. So.
So much for having us. I've actually spoken, I believe, 3 times. I first spoke for our Jester Park Nature Center campaign, which was way back in like 2013 range, and then our Easter Lake project, which we did a few years ago as well. And so my role or my speaking is going to be very brief today, but really what I'm here to do is thank you. I know a lot of times you guys give to projects and you probably don't get to see some of the results, right? Some of the success for these projects. And so I wanted to do that for just a couple minutes before I hand the mic over to Jeff Condon, because I think it's really important that you see, what your generosity has supported. So this first slide that I have up here, for those of you that have not been to Easter Lake in the last couple years, I would encourage you to do that this summer. This is the North Shore of Easter Lake, and if you had been to Easter Lake before this, you're probably sitting there going, what is that? Because it's drastically different than what it used to be. But this is now the most universally designed water-based outdoor recreation area in the United States. Everything you see here is accessible to anyone with any ability. And that's hard to do, especially when you're talking water-based recreation, right? So I won't point everything out, but what we have there is we have some rowing opportunities, and we have a pontoon boat. It's the first time many people even get on water because they've never had an opportunity to do that. They have to fish from the shore or view from the shore because they cannot get on a boat. But it's an adaptive pontoon boat that we put people on in their wheelchairs and so forth and get them out onto the lake. You can see the beach. The beach is very popular. There's actually a feature that goes right into the water, sort of a zero entry entrance into the water. We have an adaptive canoe and kayak launch. We have a wonderful playground and splash pad, and I know the Rotary gave to one of the elements within that playground, I believe back in 2021, 2022 range. And so, anyway, this is a picture. I'll kind of go to our next slide if it works. This is just the fun. This is the fun that happens at Easter Lake. We've been open for 2 seasons now, so 2024 and 2025, and both have been very successful. You may or may not remember that with part of the fundraising project, we actually hired an occupational therapist that actually works at the park. And so she organizes, she plans, she executes a lot of the programming that we need to be successful here, right? Because it's one thing to just come enjoy it, but sometimes you need that reason to come enjoy it, or that person there that's going to help you enjoy it. So these are some great photos. One thing I do want to bring up real quick, this past year, we've won quite a few awards for this project, but this past year we won our largest award. We won the 2025 National Parks and Recreation Association Innovation and Equity Award for this park. That is a big deal. There's hundreds of applications for that. So we were thrilled to receive that award. And I just wanted to highlight some of the successes. So these are last year's stats, but as you can see, just in a pretty short period of time, we had over 500,000 visitors to just this side of the park. That's an 85% increase from 2024, and we did 92 total programs and events, and we served 1,300 people with just those programs, mostly persons with individuals or veterans that are taking part in those programs that we offer. And then lastly, I just kind of wanted to end with this quote. So we've got Sydney, who's the gal here that's going to be getting into the kayak, and her mom, and then one of our staff members there. And this is what Sarah, the mom, said. My daughter's favorite part was definitely the splash pad, and I really appreciate the adaptive kayak launch as lifting gets hard on the back. We hope to be back, and I hope more of these places pop up. The staff was also friendly, and I was impressed with the amount of people who were there to help. So that leads me a good segue into our next project, because when they want more places like this, our new Sleepy Hollow project will also be universally designed, which is very unique in the ski mountain resort world. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Condon. Tim, did you want to read Jeff's bio quick?
I don't know if I have it.
Okay.
Do you have it?
Oh, I'll just make it up.
Just make it up as you
Yeah,
want.
let's make it up. This is actually a great story. So when we started planning for Sleepy Hollow, it was like right when I think we had just purchased the property. So it was back in like 2021, 2022 range. And we get this random phone call from this guy named Jeff Condon. And he's like, I'm living here in the Des Moines area. My wife works here, and I've been here a long time. And I just happen to grow up in the Adirondacks of New York, and I've got a very extensive ski history. And if you ever just need volunteer help or something, let me know. And so we kind of said, oh, thanks, Jeff, for getting a hold of us, and we filed his number. And then once we dove into this, we were like, okay, we really need Jeff, okay? So we reached out to him. That's when we knew we wanted to hire our first staff member to sort of get this process, these ideas going. And so we brought Jeff on board at that time. So I'll let Jeff talk a little bit about his background, because he will do it more eloquently than I will. But Jeff's a great addition. He's our leisure services manager, and so he heads up that unit of our agency. And for right now, he's focusing solely on Sleepy Hollow. When that gets up and running, we'll have him also doing a lot of our other outdoor recreation elements and programming that we do. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Jeff Condon.
Well, thank you, Cami. That was very nice. No, there's nothing else I could say that is supposed to be more eloquent. Has anybody been to Sleepy Hollow here? Has anybody been recently? Okay, so not many. The first thing we did, first I want to say I've done this with the AM Rotary Club, and I can tell you guys are a much better audience.
Yes, there you go.
Nothing like Canada. The from acquisitions to operations, we purchased this place. I came on board, and it really was like, well, what is it? What can we do here? What are the possibilities? It was obvious that it was past its prime, way past its prime. But the way I look at it, that was an opportunity not just to recreate what it was, but to create something different. So you can see here the timeline when we purchased it, and then there's that interesting line, Snowflex installation. The first thing that I looked at was, what are the possibilities here? Most of our infrastructure wasn't good, but it had really, really solid bones for what the potential could be. That we inherited potential and history with this project, so I kind of always had this idea of taking back winter. If you're in the ski industry, it's really difficult because you're totally dependent on weather. And weather is tricky because it's not dependable, as you know. So a bad year in the ski industry, and you have to wait a whole other year for hopefully a good one. It's a lot like farming. A lot of people understand that. So I had this idea for the Snowflex that existed a lot in the UK, where they have a lot of these hills that are year-round. Has anybody experienced Snowflex? No? Okay. So this will be new. Snowflex allows us to have winter when it's warm in the summer. So you could ski, snowboard, and tube when it's warm out, which is different. It's hard to kind of wrap your head around it because it's just so unique. Definitely, it's not a novelty. I think it gives us a great operational advantage. And so exactly what is Snowflex, which was kind of our first phase, our first thing that we really did in Sleepy Hollow. Snowflex is an artificial surface. Think of it like AstroTurf, really kind of bristly AstroTurf. It's irrigated underneath with water, and that's what makes it go fast. So, next slide will be a video, and it's better to see it than have me sit here kind of explain it. See how people enjoy this, and you'll see people tubing on it. Oh, and by the way, we didn't set out to do this, but it's the world's largest Snowflex tubing hill in the world. We have a very, very tiny ski hill at Sleepy Hollow, one of the smaller ones in the country. But when we had the Snowflex idea, it somehow became the world's largest. So we only do big things. Even on small hills, it's possible. So we'll show the video here so you can see people enjoying what Snowflex is. It's brief. All right, thank you. Well, that was all in slow motion. I promise you it goes a lot faster than that. It's about 35 miles an hour. You can go in a tube, and we do ski and snowboard on it as well. Kind of our philosophy is shoulder seasons for skiing. Right now we're skiing and snowboarding on the weekends. And then, and then in the fall we go back into skiing and snowboarding. In the summer we do all tubing. So that it's a really cool experience. We have a conveyor lift. You just stand on it, takes you up to the top. Also one of the world's largest. So the way Sleepy Hollow functions is we rely on water. We rely on water for that Snowflex. Those 650 misting nozzles are what makes it go 35 miles an hour. And that water all comes from 4 Mile Creek, which we take out of and fill it's really cool. Conservation is built into everything we do, so we take that water out of the creek and we put it in our pond. It's kind of a holding pond, which we've doubled the size of since we acquired the property. Then we take that water and pump it, we filter it and pump it up the snowflake system, and then we collect it back down and recycle it. It's really a cool system. And then in the future, we will have the snowmaking will use the same pond. So we take that water, make snow out of it, and as everything, as the snow it melts, or we have excess water, that is all channeled through our engineered bioswale, which cleans the water and puts it back into 4 Mile Creek. So we're really just kind of borrowing the water along the way. And it's a really, really cool concept. Yeah, so that's the water. And then, again, if there are any questions at the end of any of these, you can feel free to shout them out or wait until the end of the questions. I don't have a problem either. And I guess I'm back. Okay, so this is one of our most important slides. It reminds us of who we're serving. Sleepy Hollow sits in a real neighborhood with real families and real people. We're literally in people's backyards. It's one of the most diverse neighborhoods in the entire metro. And that's why it's really important for us to have access built in as part of this, the design, the pricing, and programming, so everybody has access to Sleepy Hollow. That's our main focus, is inclusive access for everybody. 2 seasons, you can see my daughter here enjoying snowflakes. We've had 2 seasons so far, and it's really interesting when you have an idea like this or you implement something like this. It's a big risk, right? It's so unique, so different. Are people going to react to it? We think it's a good idea, but how is the public going to react to it? And I can tell you, it's become more and more popular. You can see the percentage and number increases from year 1 to 2. It's a great place for schools. We've dedicated this year 2 full days to just field trips because we're so busy with field trips. School groups, we've had church services, lots of team building activities. So if anybody is looking for team building, it is a great opportunity for that. We've also in-house enhanced the system a little bit to offer even more days. So we've automated the system. Somebody internally did that for us. So we have more days that we're able to open this. When we are fully year-round for skiing and snowboarding, we'll be open around 300 days for skiing, snowboarding, tubing, which the benchmark in the ski industry is usually 100 days. So that's really impressive. So Sleepy Hollow also acts as an economic engine for the community. It's really a quality of life feature and asset to the community. I see we're obviously hiring, it takes an army to run this. 150 is on the low end, probably closer to 200 people as far as jobs. We're having a lot of our business leaders are telling us they're using this as ways to attract or retain talent. Having this in their backyard, people can go skiing. We'll have night skiing out there and snowboarding, so you can go after work or on the weekends. Enriching quality of life, as it says here, is like getting people outside, outdoors in the wintertime when it's hard, away from devices and screens is really a focus of ours. So decision making, this is one of my favorite ones, because there was a lot of internal optimism about this. We thought these were all really good ideas. The snowflakes and the others we'll talk about. But just because there's ambition internally doesn't mean that it's a great idea. So what we did is we consulted with the SC Group, who's one of the premier ski industry consultants in the country. It's all they do. I've been around for over 60 years doing this. And we said, well, these are our ideas. What do you think? Does it make sense? We need this to be not only a great fun place, but it has to be viable. We have to be able to sustain ourselves financially, turn on the lights, pay our employees, those kind of things. So we turned over all of our ideas to them and said, do your worst. And what they came up with is, the key is being open year round. Most ski areas tend to be open for 1 season, and then they close and sit dormant until the next season eventually happens. And that is our goal, is to be open all year round for everybody. As I said, that is key. The other thing, what they did is, the way they analyzed Sleepy Hollow, I think is kind of interesting, is they looked at our full capacity from the size of our hill, lodge, parking lot, chairlifts, and said, figured out what our capacity could be. If we're 100% full, this is how many people would be on the hill. Now, nobody's 100% full 100% of the time, so they said, we reasonably think you can be open, and conservatively, 50% full 100% of the time. So that's how they based our numbers, and they said if you do things, marketing's obviously number one. We're competing with a lot of people, a lot of places. There's a lot to do, especially in the warmer months. So marketing, and then reinvesting, because reinvesting is why we're in the place we're in, where the facility is not, it didn't inherit a pristine facility, an operational facility. So if we set the money aside, reinvest in safety, modernize, keep it fun, those were the key factors in making this work. And as you can see here, it's not just the numbers, but it's the direction we're going. We go from that 3 seasons to 4 seasons. It makes a big difference. So part of our fundraising team, this was kind of the third element. We really brought together a diverse, well-rounded fundraising team from members of the community, some we have here sitting today. And this was, to me, the most important part, because it went from us thinking these were good ideas to our consultant and liking these ideas, but it really we had to have buy-in from the community. And that's where our committee was really important. They bought into the vision. They thought it was important. All the other things going on that are really important in daily life, they said, we need this to also happen. This fits. This is important. So that was really rewarding, just to have people buy in to the vision. And the next one. So this is our site plan here. This is where you can really see the full vision start to come together. There's a lot happening here. Happy to take any questions on this now or later. And it's a couple things we haven't talked about. The bike trail. The Gailey Wilson bike trail runs up the spine of our property. Bike trail is obviously really popular, really successful, and that'll fit in well with our new facility and new lodge that you'll see here in just a second. The 4 Mile Creek, we're in the process of this winter. We're going to be reshaping the banks and adding new elements to where you can access that, either with a boat or on foot with some nice limestone steps. But this really shows you that it's a multi-layered facility, not just 1 or 2 options or elements for recreation. It's really, we want people to come and spend a lot of time here and come repeatedly. And there are a lot of things here that you don't have to pay to do. A lot of free things, like the 4 Mile Creek, the boat access, the pond. There's many things. It's not all about pay to play. So it's really going to be a well-rounded facility. Our new lodge, super exciting. The lodge is really, really important because it changes what we can do operationally. It improves our guest experience. It also improves our efficiency, our programming, our rentals, our food. We'll have from the closest end to you, that'll be a restaurant, bar that we'll outsource, and people will run that, also tie in with the bike trail. I see those people tend to like places that serve beverages. So we'll have that as well. One thing you can barely see on here is this little white. That'll be our new bunny hill, which is a snowflakes bunny hill. So you can learn to ski and snowboard all year round, which is really kind of a game changer. Our consultants were very, very high on that. So that'll be the Pretty Lodge, which will be, if you're familiar with the site, it'll be close to where it is now, but pushed up the hill just a little bit. So when you walk out of the ski shop on the other end, you'll be at the top of that bunny hill. Let's see. Whoop, sorry. Okay, sorry, having fun here. So, more photos of the lodge, and you can see the bunny hill a little better in this. So we want the lodge to be an inviting place, not just a pass through. We want people to come, hang out, feel comfortable there, watch your kids, grandkids ski, or learn to ski or snowboard on that new bunny hill. Really going to be kind of the hub for everything that happens at Sleepy Hollow. And one of the most exciting parts for me is universal design. As Cami mentioned with Easter Lake, that was a focal point, the main focus of that facility. Same here. We've learned a lot about universal design. It is pretty rare in the ski industry. It's kind of an afterthought if they do it at all. And we're going into it with baking that into our overall designs. And really, universal design is just good design, right? If it's good for everybody, the experience is better. And I've learned a lot about universal design through this, and it's really impressive and it's really exciting what we're going to be able to do. Part of being a small hill is we can do big things like this in really exciting ways. So it's a real project with real costs, as you can see. These numbers, they're for building an entire ski area. They look high. They're really not. A lot of chairlifts cost more than this whole price. This is a complete project. This gets us everything that you've seen or we've talked about. So this is what we're looking to raise right now. We're in the fundraising for this, and we're looking to hopefully break ground here this year. As you can see, the projected timeline. This is happening. This isn't concepts of a plan. This is actually in the works, and we have plans. We were just talking. I came from a meeting. We were talking about tearing down our lodge and where we're going to all work, which is a whole other story. But and we do state fair camping. That ends after the state fair, and after that, we're looking to start this project, which the construction should be about a year and a half, and then we'll have a brand new lodge, a new Sleepy Hollow. Everybody will be excited and welcome. And that was the end of what I have here. Basically at the end of the day, Sleepy Hollow is more than just skiing and tubing. It's about creating a fun place, a safe, welcoming place, and value add to the community. Really, access is our number one goal, so everybody can have the ability to experience what we have there. And we're building it for the future. This isn't just, we're not going to build it and walk away and forget about it. This is a long term. Everything we're planning on has that in mind. So with that, that's the end of what I have. If you have any questions or sure, Cedar first.
I have a question here related to accessibility, not necessarily from an impaired perspective, but from a general traffic perspective. With Dean Avenue, it seems like it's a little bit small and difficult to locate sometimes. And I'm just kind of curious how that fits in with some other traffic activity that you're looking at to make it more accessible from a traffic perspective.
Yeah, so that's a good question. The question was, what do we do with our terrible Dean Avenue? And how do we make it more inviting or get people there? And that is a good question, because you notice that, especially if you're coming from
I go to the
west.
state fair, so I know what it's like.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, DART stopped going down Dean Avenue because it is so terrible. So we are in talks with the city to make Dean Avenue first off safer. It's not as safe, especially coming around that corner on top of the hill, and things that we can do to broaden the streets, widen the streets. We're in our design, we're making the entrance, we're pushing it back a little bit, because the way I go to work every day, you have to slam on your brakes and get into the parking lot alone. And it's a really good question. But we are in working talks with the city. Obviously, nothing moves at the pace you want it to. But it is something that we're of, and something we're definitely working on. It's hard with those banks right there on both sides, but it's definitely a key consideration. So it's something we're working on. So I saw another. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you mind if I jump over?
I noticed on your map, festival grounds, when it was still privately owned, I would go to music festivals out there. Is there any talks about doing that in the future?
So that's a good question. The question was about just music or other events as well?
Well, I know they have Renaissance too, but that's not my thing.
Okay. They have music there. So the question was, in the prior life of Sleepy Hollow, when it was privately owned, they did music festivals there. And and are we still going to do those? And we are. They had some infamous music festivals there that just prior to us taking over. Those sorts, we want to be good neighbors. So we do have a music series happening this summer. We'll have, it'll be a series of 4, and 2 of them over on the Renaissance grounds actually, and then 2 over in front of our lodge as it exists now. So we still will definitely, events are a big part of what we want to do. It's a great space. It's right in the city. It's so accessible, except for Dean Avenue. But yeah, that'll definitely be something we'll do. But we'll definitely, the sound and the craziness will not reach the levels that we may have experienced. So, yes, Ted.
We were talking, Jeff, before the presentation, how your skiing background, which is obviously higher end than a lot of people's in Iowa coming from upstate New York. Explain how the concept's going to be for I think you mentioned sort of 3 seasons. In the summer it'll just be tubing, but how does the snowmaking interact with the snowflex and, keeping sort of the hill proper, I guess you'd say, for skiers and snowboarders?
It's another astute question. So the question is, how do we have snowflakes and kind of marry that with the winter season, and how does that all work? That's a lot of people ask that. So it's a really good question. So one of the things that was on our list here is our line items, is snowmaking. So we are rebuilding the entire facility, not just the lodge, snowmaking, chairlift, and adding the other snowflakes. And we'll be able to do is, am I going over?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. What we'll be able to do is make snow directly over the top of snowflakes. So that snowflakes hill that you see now with snowflakes on it, in the wintertime, that'll have snow on top of it. So we're utilizing that. We're not losing that space. We'll utilize that, and that'll be our tubing hill in the wintertime. With the new advanced equipment, you can make snow that is a little more exact than you could before, and you can groom it in ways that, we'll actually put a groomer right over the top of that. Yeah. So, yes?
What's the lifespan of that Snowflex product?
It's another great question. Man, see, I told you guys were going to lifespan of snowflakes is, so it's 10 years, and it comes in rolls, so it's about 3 feet by 10. So you can replace rolls at a time. You don't have to replace the whole thing. You just replace small sections at a time. But for tubing, it's 10 years. For skiing and snowboarding, it's 5, 6, depending on how busy it is, because the skis have metal edges. Yes, sir.
You're breaking ground this summer,
So breaking ground, we plan to start tearing down at the end of summer, early fall. So we'll start the demolition phase of it then, and then they'll be moving earth as well. That is our ambitious goal.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
I think Greg wanted to say something.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Edwards, what did you want to say?
Well, being on the fundraising committee and knowing how much money you all have in this room, I highly encourage you to look at this project, because really, it is such a great project, especially for the east side of the mooring. It will enable us, if we go through with this vision, it will enable us to host the Winter Olympics in 2044. Never say never to anything. But great project, great presentation. Thank you, guys.
Greg,
do any of the buildings need garage doors? Because
Yeah.
you know that.
Well, thank you, Cami and Jeff, for sharing your time, and thank you, Cami, for updating us on that Easter Lake project. Like you're correct, we always like to appreciate and see what our money in action. So we appreciate the work you and your organization do to enhance Polk County's outdoor spaces and create those opportunities for our community to connect and thrive. So speaking of connecting and thriving, upcoming speakers. Remember, you and a guest need to RSVP by Wednesday at 9 a.m. for the Thursday lunches, and you can register Friday via that email that's sent out around 10 a.m. and then or Tuesday through the newsletter. So guests need to be registered with Kitty, and they can be registered online. So April, we have a couple of great presentations coming up. Some of the best programs we do all year. April 9th is our Educator Awards. We'll be honoring 5 educators from Des Moines Public Schools with the grant that we give them every year. So that'll be a great program. April 16th, we have Joe Stevens, the CEO of Joppa, will be here to update us on what's going on with Joppa. And on April 23rd, we get back to our education and our the good work of our foundation, and we award our 6 $8,000 scholarships to a senior from each of the Des Moines public schools. So I know that those of you that have been in the club for a while, that's one of my favorite programs on the 23rd. So make sure you attend that one. A reminder on a couple of other networking opportunities. Tonight is our golf fellowship at Top Golf out in West Des Moines. Looking outside, I'm glad that Top Golf is covered and heated. So my guess is it'll be more about socialization than golfing this evening. So RSVP deadline for the Spring Fling has already passed on April 7th. But we look forward to seeing those of you that have signed up for that. President-elect Josh Braby and his wife Kaylee will be hosting us at the World Food Prize for a great evening on Tuesday the 7th. You heard from Randy Worth about the Wheels Fellowship on the 25th, and there'll also be some details coming out soon. On May 19th, we're planning a really fun event at Jasper Winery to welcome some new members and recruit some other members out there in the community. So that'll be a really fun event. Mark that on your calendars. Finally, as we mention every week, we have morning fuels. The next one will be Tuesday, May 5th. From 9 to 10 a.m. at Freedom Blend Coffee, and we'll feature Jackie Norris. And then we'll have one more fuel in June. I need to connect with that member to make sure I get a time and date that will work for everyone, but we will have another one in June as well. So announcement on that to come. Okay, with all of that great stuff going on, thank you for being with us today, and thank you for being part of this great club. Thank you to all our guests and prospective members for joining us. Stay true to the good, and we are adjourned.